I'm just going to start the show today. It is a big, big show. Our special guest, wait, can you guys hear me? Our special guest today, Eric Roberts, is joining me on the show. You can ask him questions. You can ask Eric Roberts questions about everything except the movie that we'll be talking about that he is in. It's a short film that's playing at a horror film festival. We're going to talk to the director and Eric Roberts on the show, but prepare your questions. I'm going to ask him about The Dark Knight. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Plus Loki. Will Loki save the MCU? Who knows? Plus I have seen the first 4 episodes of Gen V. We're going to talk about it. And in addition, Trump versus the Illuminati is an actual movie that exists, and I've seen it. I'll tell you how I've seen this movie. By the way, it's a science fiction action comedy. Alan Ng is here. Where is Alan Ng? He is somewhere waiting in the wings. Alan's around. Let's get Alan over here real quick. You can read these questions if you can't see them.
I never thought I'd see him again. You might not have if you had chosen differently. Sorry to state the obvious, but this is going to slow us down a bit, only if we let it. It wasn't safe to come here alone. You're not alone anymore.
Alan!
First of all, I didn't even know you auditioned for Ahsoka.
I know. I think I gave a better reading. That's all I'll say.
You're a much better actor than the Asian actor on the show. I think there's one, right? The actress who plays Sabine, right?
Yeah, I'm not going to compare myself to him. He's a good actor. I like him.
Okay.
His name, but I've seen his show.
Ah, nice. All right. Well,
I've seen 2 seasons of it.
Okay. Well, I've seen a couple episodes. I saw the Gay Day episode.
Yeah.
No, Gay Discount. It's the Gay Discount episode. It's very funny. Very funny. If you're gay, you get a discount at his store, at his convenience store. So there you are. Let's see, because we have a big show today and so much to talk about. Let's get right to your chat comments and questions right here. One Punch Man Tolkien fan afternoon film threat. That's right. Hollywood on the Rocks on a Wednesday. Dr. Gonzo, who's also a member. Thank you for that. Join us as a member. We do giveaways for members. We do, you're on the Discord with us. We're going to be doing a lot more when it comes to the fall. I can tell you that because I'll actually have time. When does Loki get his powers back and where did they go? Says Dr. Gonzo. Good question. Daniel T, lull with the Daredevil news and Marvel TV show updates today. The show might be extra long. That is possible. Thank you, Daniel T. We'll get into it. We'll discuss that. And we're going to do that last. Imperfect says, thank Go Tits Film Threat. What did Go Tits? Wait,
no,
Alan,
Alan,
could you read that?
Yeah. Thank Go Tits Film Threat. Thank God it's Film Threat.
Yeah, that's close.
Yeah.
And then Chase Hedges 67, Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson and the rest of the cast is the only reason to watch. Really? Well, you really can't complain about the actors. I think the actors, Tom Hiddleston is still just inherently likable. He just is. Owen Wilson, I've always enjoyed him in like Wes Anderson movies or just little indie movies. Always liked him in that. He always adds something interesting. Nothing wrong with the cast. It's all this comes down is the right. You had like a great tweet, Alan, that you put out.
Yes, I did.
Just about story.
I know, it was like WDW Pro invited me on the show tomorrow to talk about my tweet.
Just to talk about the tweet? Yeah. Alan's tweet, it hasn't quite gone viral, but it hasn't quite gone viral, but I noticed it was getting a lot of traction.
Mm-hmm.
So let's.
The
Can
only
can
thing
you
I'll
put it
say
up on
is,
screen?
yeah. Well,
What
I
is?
mean, the only thing I'll say about the Loki thing is, coming off the heels of Secret Invasion, the dialogue in Loki is superior. It's great. It's, you know,
Well, let me.
I think it's definitely Loki. Loki benefits from the fact that everything before it has been crap, and that,
Well, that's
that
true.
this is a mid science fiction show, and
Wait, we missed the Lord Thoth tweet went away. I was going to save that for last. All right, it's fine. Want Biscuits says, just checked out Eric Roberts' filmography. My God, that goes on forever. I don't remember a filmography that long. Talk about
yeah,
a true working actor. He's a character actor that always works. He is, I mean, you could compare him to a Nick Cage. He doesn't do as many leading roles, but in terms of character roles and being a side character in a film, he has worked consistently from what was his first role was the film Star 80. One of his first roles was
one
a
of his
film
first roles. I think
from the
Coca-Cola Kids
80s.
came out before that.
Right. So he has been a working actor forever. And Eric Roberts, of course, he is chef's kiss amazing in The Dark Knight. We'll talk to him about it. So stick around. They'll be on in about the next 90 minutes. The director of a short film that Eric is in, and Eric will be joining us. And we have to follow special rules because of the SAG strike with Eric being on the show. So there are certain windows of things we cannot talk about, and we're going to respect that request just because we don't want Eric to get in trouble, because we want him to come back to the show.
Yeah.
So there you go. Dark Sith 87 member for 11 months says, hello, FT. Before I fall asleep, I would recommend you watch When Evil Lurks. Such a superior possession film, a possession movie to Exorcist Believer. I'm going to go see it tonight. There's a 9:50 show playing near me, not in Burbank, but another theater, and I'm going to see it tonight. I have heard multiple people rave about it. We'll talk about it on Friday. So going to be a weird Friday because that Taylor Swift movie. And a super chat here from Spidey Sensei 72, who's a member, for 10. I don't normally watch Nerdrotic, but thank you for being so cool with Danica. Some of his audience was making super rude comments in the chat today. Well, that is unnecessary. You can critique my opinion or whatnot. You can disagree with myself or Alan. You can say, I agree with Alan. Chris is wrong on this one. Fine. But rudeness is never something that I tolerate. I have known Danica since 2012. Her Comic Book Girl 19 show on YouTube is brilliant. Her coverage of Dune is fantastic. So, you know, I've been a fan of hers. Do I have to agree 100% with everything? No, I don't agree 100% with everything Alan says. I mean, Alan and I, we agree pretty much. We're like 60-40, but like, you know, like I disagree with, and then I continue to talk to Al. In fact, I just had a text conversation with Danica after the show. We were just chatting, and I'm like, I'm tired of tolerating people that are just intolerant. They're ultimately intolerant. It's okay to have a different opinion from your friend. You 100% agree with every opinion a friend has or belief that they have. I don't think I have a friend that I line up with 100% on anything. I don't have one friend, and I have a lot of friends. Alan, I don't know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, the big thing is we've got to return to a point where we can have disagreements and talk about it civilly. I mean, it's, there's a whole war going on based on intolerance going on right now. This is the problem with social media, is that it's trained us to just to go after people, and it's given us that boldness to, we talk about all the time, are you a divider? Are you a uniter? And we're just heading down this really dark road. And, my hope is that, with Chris and I, that we just bring back civil debate, even though he's wrong. What is it? 60% of the time? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying you and I agree maybe 60-40. We agree maybe 60% of the time, 40% we disagree. But to me, the disagreements are the most interesting conversations we have.
What do they disagree with her about? I'm just curious. I wasn't reading the chat.
I think they were. Danica has a very provocative Instagram. That's all I'll say.
Oh, okay.
She has a very provocative Instagram. And I'm friends with her. So I have a lot of female friends, oddly. And I don't like them necessarily. I don't like them because of their looks. I like them because we have common interests, because we get along, we have great conversations, we like to hang out. But yeah, some of her Instagram is a little it's a what they call a thirst trap.
Oh yeah, like mine.
Oh my God, Alan, your timing on that was so perfect. Thank you for doing that. And I got to look at your naked chest.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kyle is here for $4.99. Thank you, Kyle. Al Gore, the Chris Inning. So, and Spidey Sensei 72. Oh, yeah, we already got that one. Thank you for that. And Jimmy Francis says, what are the SAG rules? So we know, Chris, really, he just can't promote. He's not going to really talk about the SAG strike because he's not a spokesman for SAG, right? I'm not going to ask him anything that I think would put him in an awkward position. We're not going to ask him anything about the movie he's promoting, which is a short film called Hammer. We'll talk about it. The director can talk about it. He cannot. But he can discuss past work, basically. And that's pretty much it. So there you go. MK Solid 82 for $4.99 for Eric. Best of the best. Oh, wait. Well, we're going to save that. Okay. MK Solid 82, I promise we will get that question. You will be among the first questions asked when Mr. Roberts is here in an hour and 15 minutes. Alan, we haven't even started the show. But yeah, so I'll filter the questions, but there you go. And Lord Thoth ending it with, thank you, Lord Thoth. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, sign up as a member, and join us on Discord. Well, there you go. All right, real quick. A couple things to discuss before we get into reviews. Let's get into it. So here we are. Award This is coming. There are going to be some big announcements. Filmmakers have been asking us about Award This. You are going to be able to, there were two. So Award This is on Sunday, December 10th at 8 p.m. at the Frida Cinema in Santa Ana, California. Tickets are on sale now. There are a limited number of tickets. It's going to be 2 rooms. We have a stand-up comedian that will be hosting. We're going to have celebrity presenters. Alan and I and other members of the Film Threat staff are going to be there. Many of the friends that you see us chat with, they're going to be there. There's supposed to be another headline about Award This. I'm going to get it. But yeah, so, okay. So here we go. This is how I want to do this going forward. So we'll do this on Fridays and on Wednesdays. So what we do is we do this and we promote it this way. Also, so you're going to be able to see Award This. Okay. Tickets are on sale now if you use the discount code. I'm also going to share with you, the link will be in the description for this episode. Okay. So you'll be able to check it out. Tickets are now on sale. Go to thefridacinema.org. It is December 10th. Check it out. There are different tiers of tickets. You can get tickets as low as $20. You can also get a VIP ticket. You'll be in a VIP section. You'll be going to our cocktail party, drinks, a cocktail reception, red carpet, and a gift bag. We also have $50 gold tickets. Now, if you use the discount code, you'll save 20%. So a $50 ticket becomes $40. A $20 ticket becomes $16. So do yourself a favor and head on over to thefridacinema.org. The link in the description. I'll you know what? We'll post it, and I hope to see you there. So there you go. We will be making announcements this Friday. We're going to have actually all of the nominees. We're going to be now announcing the nominees, so you'll know what filmmakers are going to be in attendance at the event. It's 75 filmmakers culled from 2,000 movies that were reviewed collectively from Alan, Bobby Lapierre, Jason Delgado, 30 plus writers from filmthreat.com contributed to this list. And these are among the best films. And we like to do this live in front of an audience. It's a lot of fun. I'll be wearing a tuxedo. Alan, what will you be wearing?
Yeah, I guess I'm wearing my tuxedo.
Come on, wear it. You're complaining about wearing a tuxedo?
I am complaining about wearing a tuxedo.
Why?
I'm not a big suit fan, but I will wear it.
I actually kind of like getting dressed up because for me, whenever I wear a tuxedo, it's like I'm cosplaying James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoy it. You know what I'm gonna do?
Well, yeah. I mean, growing up until my teens, I had to wear a suit to church every Sunday.
Oh, so that's why you didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here's actually the link. Just type it in. It's easy. I just put it in the chat. I just put it in the chat so people can see. So, all right, time to pivot. Time to pivot because we've got other stuff to discuss today. But before we do that, I want to actually talk about your tweet that you put out because that will kick off a conversation. This is going to kick off a conversation here. Loki season 2. Will it save the MCU? Alan, what say you?
It won't save the MCU, but it's I'll be positive here. It is the best, in my opinion, best Marvel Disney that's been put out there. Will it save it? No, because the audience for this is very limited. I don't think it's going to reach a broad audience that it needs to. And unfortunately, everything else has been crap. And if you're right that it's going to lead to something big for Captain Marvel, no one's going to care.
Well, here's the problem here's what I'm told from a source. Okay. The last 2 episodes of Loki season 2, which you and I have not seen yet, right, and we're not going to see for a couple of weeks.
Right. And I'm pretty sure this is the reason why we haven't seen it.
Right. So episode 5 and 6 of Loki, because it's a short season, 6 episodes, there will be a cataclysmic event that is going to affect everything in the Marvel universe. Every character will be touched by this event. So I am told. Now, the end of Loki season 2 also coincides with the Marvels that's coming out on November 9th, 10th. I like to see movies on the Thursday that they open. So is this going to here's the problem with it then. Do you need to have seen those last few episodes of Loki season 2 to understand what's going on in the Marvels? Because if they start doing stuff like that, obviously these Marvel series have not been the huge hit that they thought they were. Daredevil, the new Daredevil, which is like Daredevil Born Again, it's going to be on Disney Plus. They stopped shooting because it wasn't working. They're looking to find different writers. This is the point that we're at. I believe, based on everything that I've heard, and I've heard things for a while, but I think now we're at the point where this is the hard pivot that Marvel's been talking about doing.
This is the real snap, you're saying.
This is the real snap. Couple of other things. Ironheart, the TV series, has been delayed until 2025 with no premiere date on the calendar. Mm-hmm. The TV show Echo, they basically are going to drop all episodes on one day. I think what they're trying to do is make it so that YouTubers can't like Alan Ng are not going to be talking about it for weeks, right?
Yeah.
So you've got that happening with Echo. Loki, I think the thing that has saved it for me is just the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's like confusing and there are a ton of MacGuffins where it's like, this is really important. Oh, don't worry, it's not that important. This is so important, it's the end of the universe. Oh, don't worry, that's not a big deal. I'm tired of being jerked around where the level of stakes seems to change based on, an offhand line that we hear. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, again, I'm a little more positive toward Loki season 2. I think To me, I was kind of not sure where this was going in the first 2 episodes, but when it hit episode 3, that's when the action and the narrative picks up. And I describe it this way: episodes 1 and 2 of Loki are the rules of the show. They play with time, and they experiment with time in the first 2 episodes. In episodes 3 and 4, now that you've established the rules, now you have your main story with Kang, or the one who was killed before, whatever his name is. Now there's this battle that goes on, and I'll spoil the themes of it, but it kind of goes to the idea of, if you could go back in time and kill Hitler, would you do it, or would you get Hitler on your side? That's kind of the impression you get in season 3 and 4, and I think that's where they're kind of headed with the idea behind it. It's better written than most things. I would say, again, it's mid science fiction. I would be hard pressed to convince you that you need to see the show, but if you give it a chance and you have an open mind, I think you'll get through it, and you might find some enjoyment out of it. I know you don't feel the same way.
No, I don't. I don't feel the same way. I
mean, you had to forgive a lot of things. This is the thing, is I'm making excuses for it to get you to say, hey, it's not as bad as you think. But the fact that I have to make excuses for it means, this is the state of Marvel at the time. This is Marvel's fault. Absolutely.
Well, to me, I think that the biggest mistake ties in with a tweet that you put out, which I'm going to put up in a second, because I think it might be Alan's biggest tweet. It's got to be Alan's biggest tweet.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Because all these people are, because that's what, well, I mean, you got invited on WDW Pro's show just to talk about your tweet.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't make it, but
but here's my point. What I don't like about the Loki show is Loki is not in the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is a version of Loki, but this is the version of Loki that we knew from the first Avengers movie, who was a trickster, who could not be trusted, who was lethal in a fight, who was conniving and had plans. And that is not who is the character that's in the show, even though it's played by Tom Hiddleston and the character is called Loki. It's not Loki. This isn't Loki. And even Loki, so that variant, the one that is in the Loki show, came on the heels of the end of the first Avengers movie. And we're supposed to believe that after seeing his life that may have been, that he's a completely changed person, that he still doesn't have, and I'm not even talking about superpowers. He doesn't have like the faculties within him character-wise to be conniving and the trickster. That doesn't go away. That's not a superpower. That's a personality attribute. I'm gonna throw up on screen the tweet that you put out that I think
I'll just say that it's literally, they should just, the show would be good if they just removed everything Marvel about it and just had a science fiction adventure in the time variant TVA, and starring Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson. Because I agree, you're not going to see Loki use his powers until episode 3 or 4, and he doesn't use it that much. And yes, he is fundamentally different than the Loki of the first Thor, and barely the Loki that died in Infinity War. And so, yeah, the problem is that this is associated with Marvel, and I think it could be a better show if it wasn't.
Well, Loki is literally Lowkey. He's low key.
Yeah,
Glenn,
he's a good guy.
Glenn, there's your header for this video about the clip. All right, I got to read this tweet from Alan Ng on Twitter, or X, at MyPalAl. The Ahsoka and Disney Plus problem is this generation thinks bland storytelling is great, all about narratives. We chase outcomes instead of character. The journey with its trials is as significant as the destination. Character is the foundation on which real success is built. You've got a lot of comments in there, but you should be an executive at Disney Plus because you've identified this isn't just the problem with the MCU, with Ahsoka. You use Ahsoka as an example. This is a problem also with the MCU shows.
Yep.
It's not about character. It's about, well, this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And the problem is with enough things happening that don't matter, nothing matters. But these characters matter quite a bit. And this is where
it's a show about getting the thing. You know,
right.
Someone, if you read the comments of this tweet, one person, I don't know who it is, basically said, yeah, if you boil down Lord of the Rings, it was to throw a ring into a sea of lava.
I mean, these comments,
and you realize, no, Lord of the Rings is much deeper than that. It was the journey to ultimately get to that ring, to get to that sea of lava, and then the battle to throw it into the lava. And they had just built these characters. Every single character was built brilliantly. Every character has an arc that they had to struggle through to get to that final ending. And when they finally got to the thing, everyone was a fundamentally different person and left the world in a better place at the end of the trilogy. You can't say that. Definitely about Ahsoka, which, the end game was, hey, we're going to switch places with all our characters.
Well, here I want to read just a few of these comments, some of the highlights here, but Valiant Renegade gave you a this.
Yeah.
If you get a this, it's a good comment. Eric, master of 108 secret skills, says a lot of writers and younger people who consume the content that they write don't really seem to understand the concept of a story being more than just a collection of things that happen. So there you go. Conjugumus, I'm saying that incorrectly. I don't get this point at all. Disney Plus shows have declining viewership because lots of people don't like the storytelling. And you really think these shows are more bland than similar fare 15 years ago? No, I mean, that's a fair point. There are other dumb shows. I just think we expect more. Eric O'Sullivan, aka Reverend Sully, says it's like video game plot points with soap opera story beats with action scenes to justify brand and title. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, one of my favorite memes from Red Letter Media: just consume product, then get excited for next product. Don't ask questions. So there you go. I just think I don't think that one show can save the MCU. I think that the Marvels, I'm not going to predict how the Marvels is going to do. Look, I bought tickets. I'm going to be there day one. All right. Alan and I, hopefully we'll see it early. We'll do a non-spoiler, night of that we see it. We'll do a review. Mm-hmm. Then we'll do a spoiler review on that Friday on November 10th. We'll do that with all of you. But I think the fact that you may actually have to, in order to understand the events of the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, if you're going to have to watch the last 2 episodes of Loki season 2 to know what's going on. You have failed as storytellers. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really disheartening. To me, these events, and if you look at the box office for all the Marvel movies, the biggest box office has always been consistently not individual character movies like Captain America and Iron Man, which are among the top grossing at the box office. All the Avengers movies, the top movies, all the Avengers films, because they were, team up movies, with lots of characters that are beloved. They're all the top grossing Marvel movies are Avengers movies. So leading into that, they're going to have to sum up the events. They can't pull an Ahsoka and assume that the audience has watched all of Rebels, 6 seasons of Rebels, and all of Clone Wars, because I didn't do that. So there you go. All right, let's hear what you have to say in the comments section. I want to see what you have to say. Here we go. Missed super chat from Friday, a Rumble rant for $2. Caveat Ty says, if you had to be trapped in a house with just one movie from this year, what color t-shirt would you want to wear? I am going to go with a light, bright blue, like Adam West's tights from the 66 Batman. That will be the t-shirt color that I will be wearing. And there you go. And I'd probably watch 2001, A Space Odyssey, or The Player, starring Tim Robbins. Alan, what about you?
Yes, I would have to go with black to go with my ninja heritage. And if I'm going to be stuck in a house with a movie, I just want to disappear.
Well, there you go. Let's your comments on the topic at hand. Tony Banash, I'm sure I pronounced that incorrectly, Tony. My apologies. Or Banach. Has the Chris and Alan origin story ever been told? Curious how you met, got started. We were both bitten by a radioactive Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
And met in a sewer. I forget exactly where it was. Alan knows.
It was the weirdest orgy I've ever been a part of.
Well, it was mainly because of the radioactive semen. But
yeah.
There will be.
How far into this? Okay, we're half an hour in, so we can talk like this.
Okay, good. One day we'll tell the Ernest actual story. It's not as interesting as Alan's orgy story that he just.
Yeah. We talked. We met on 2 occasions before we really met, and then
before we chatted, we knew each other.
Yeah,
I was.
Where we actually have mutual friends. Let's put it.
We have mutual friends, and it's a little embarrassing now that I remember who that friend is.
Yes. We probably will never talk about that first meeting, but we could.
Was it? Wait a sec. Was it at Lauren Kling's house on that podcast?
That was the second time. The first time we met was at E3, and you were with said person.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew said person because we did improv. I started my improv career with that person.
All right. You know what? How about let's get to questions that actually relate to the topic that we're discussing. All right. Thank you, Tony. We will get to that. But thank you. You derailed it in all the best ways. Wop Biscuit says, to me, it's not that debates and arguments cause division. Instead, it's not learning from each other. Problem is that we sometimes learn something from others who never meant to teach it. Fair point. And Retro Nerd Girl, big mistake. These cross-platform events is creating confusion. Love me some Retro Nerd Girl. Subscribe to her channel. She is on fire covering retro pop culture and movies. And I love her passion and enthusiasm. And there you go, Retro Nerd Girl. Yeah, the cross-platform events this happened in comics. Like, I love one of the first times I even learned about a crossover event was Crisis on Infinite Earths in the 80s. It was a DC crossover event, and I got all 12 issues, which took place over a year, of Crisis on Infinite Earths. It told the story of all these infinite Earths in the DC universe, sort of culminating into then one Earth. But all the other books were affected. Some books were canceled, some were merged, but they all had something that connected to this limited series, which went on, I believe, 12 episodes or 12 issues. So I didn't read every single crossover comic. And there were a bunch of them. And I'm like, do I have to read this to know? I'm just going to read the main story.
Yeah.
So,
because there was a time where okay, I'll speak from Marvel. Please. They would have a big event, and you had to. The narrative was told from one book to the next book to the next book, and they were cross books. And then this was a time where digital issues weren't available, so if you missed one, you were screwed. If one sold out, you were done. And now you had a gap that you had to pay premium prices to fill. I think Marvel first started this with Secret Wars, the very first Secret Wars, where all the heroes come back fundamentally changed. The Thing has disappeared, and now you had to go and buy all the titles to figure out what happened to them during the Secret War,
right?
What happened to them as a result of the Secret Wars.
Yeah.
But thank you. Like, that was a time where my comic book store had a limited number of issues, and if you didn't buy it in time, you were screwed.
Wow. Wes Ray, thank you, Retro Nerd Girl. Wes Ray, for Eric, The Ambulance is such a cool, underrated thriller. What was it like? Oh, that's for Eric Roberts.
Yeah, let's save it for All
right, my apologies. I gotta read these before I put them up on screen. Patrick Lemire says, does this generation really think this? None of these shows are driving D+ subs upward. Yes, because the people that are doing that are just borrowing their. You know what? I found a service where you can subscribe and you're literally sharing someone else's subscription. You can get Disney Plus for like $2 a month, but you're sharing someone else's sub.
Wow.
It's a serve. There's an app. They wanted to advertise with us, but it felt really sketchy.
Yeah, no,
and now I just kind of plugged them. But yeah, sounds like another show that the only people who like it are on Twitter. Even they aren't watching or buying merch. Thank you, Patrick Lemire.
You can tell when people say, when you ask people why was this episode great, it was because of a thing that happened. Like, oh, it was a cool lightsaber fight. Oh, look, Grogu flipped himself into Lizzo's arms. That was a great moment. But no one ever talks about the story, the narrative that strings these episodes together. Space whales. Oh my God, space whales. C-3PO. Oh my God. That's why people think this is great, because of these little memeable moments that people cream themselves over. Did I just say that?
Yeah, you did. Imperfect says, even my NPC boomer parents have stopped watching anything Disney. Fair. Pilgrim Media for 2 says, hail brothers, love me some Film Threat. And Alejandro Montoya Marin for 999. Great to see you, gents. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Tuned in for the Herd review, but hearing y'all talk about a word, this is the cherry on top. Viva Indy. Alejandro, the announcement about nominees, it's going to be in waves, because we realized we had so many. Alan and I were on a stream talking on Saturday morning from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. We were on a stream making sure that we had to vet all of the nominees.
Yeah.
We had to go through all of the suggestions of nominees from the 30 writers from Film Threat. We vetted everything. We're trying to thread the needle of, okay, we got horror, we got indie comedy stuff, but the announcement will be out on Friday. We will go over the list on the website on Friday, but it's not the complete list. We're holding back some of the nomination categories. We'll have a complete list the following week. But thank you, Alejandro, for your support for that. Yeah, we gotta get to the Herd movie, which Alan has seen.
Yes, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. It's well, final thoughts on Loki season 2. Will it save the MCU?
No. It's a testament to the fact that there are some good writers, but I feel like they're not given good direction, and they're given properties that have backed themselves into corners. And I think a huge reset is the only thing that will save Marvel is a huge reset.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Well, fair point.
And that might include leadership at Disney and Marvel.
Well, there you go. We're going to pivot really quickly. We're going to pivot. And wait, there is a thing that I needed to show you, Alan. It was right here. Wasn't it?
It is amazing. She is the first female action hero ever in a movie.
Well, look, he's 19 years old. She's 32.
Whoa!
You're ready. In the Fire is a film that stars Amber Heard. Alan has seen it. I watched a chunk of it, and I have thoughts about the third act. So, so
you didn't see it?
No, I did have it on, but I don't feel comfortable doing a full review. I'll say I have comments about it. But Alan, what did you think of the film? Give us your take on In the Fire, which is just a random movie that has been released that stars Amber Heard.
Yes. All right. So In the Fire, Amber Heard, plays an alienist. If you're familiar, basically back in the turn of the century, these were people who solved religious phenomenon through science. And in this case, there's a small village where a boy appears to have the powers of the devil. He's got the ability. Bad luck follows him. He scares horses. Tragedy follows this kid, and the entire town the religious leaders of that town thinks this kid is possessed by Satan. Amber Heard character hears about the story, comes in and decides that no, she's going to fix the kid through psychology and science. And she befriends the father. Of course, there's this icy welcome, but eventually they have sex with each other. But she comes in and tries to convince the town that he is not possessed, but that he's, maybe his attitudes are a little bit of a sociopath, and that maybe there's something more to his powers, so to speak, that speaks to coincidence or suggestion. And this movie exists essentially as a vehicle for Amber Heard to maybe turn her career around. I think, look, I'm going to divorce myself from the news surrounding Amber and just tell you it's a very bland movie. Her performance in it is someone who's trying a bit too hard to be a lead in a movie. And it really comes across in the way she acts and attempts to emote. And I mean, ultimately at the end of it, it's a forgettable movie. I don't have any reason why I'd ever want to see it again. And there's not a whole lot special about it in regards to this issue of science versus religion. It tries to be a Western / thriller / horror. And in the process of trying to be all three things, it comes out as bland. And so I would definitely not recommend In the Fire. What do you think, Chris?
I would also not recommend it. I put it on and I thought, well, Alan said he would review it, but I guess I'll watch it. And I thought, well, I'll watch a little bit of it. And I had it on and it quickly became, I'm talking about the first 2/3 of the movie. It quickly became one of those movies you could watch while you're folding laundry. Mm-hmm. This is literally and it's a genre that even people at Netflix recognize, like, look, we know people are just doing other things. We just need to keep the story easy enough to follow that while you're doing household tasks, you can sort of, jump in, see what's going on. Oh, I get it. Oh, she's mad at him now. Okay. And walk away. And I felt that way for the first 2/3 of the film. I thought, this is so slow and deadly dull. It gets interesting at the end because in a way it kind of turns into the end of Frankenstein, right? Where all the villagers are coming with torches to get the young boy, because he's imbued with powers, which they never understand or never explain. Is the little boy, is he imbued with powers? Is he a mutant? Is he the devil? He has some powers. I think it's some sort of mutant thing. I don't think they ever fully explained it. He has abilities. I didn't even realize that this movie was kind of a genre film, but it's not a very good one.
I mean, it reminds me of Indiana Jones, the endings where, Indiana Jones is this atheist who is encountering having religious encounters. And even then he kind of questions whether maybe he's wrong about being an atheist, but then, kind of shoves it off to the side. That's kind of the sense I get from this movie, that, that religious things happen, supernatural things happen, yet she struggles to explain it from a psychological standpoint.
Yeah. And the one thing I noticed as I'm watching the film, the thing that got my attention is I did watch the Heard Johnny Depp trial. Okay. Mm-hmm. The thing I noticed was a lot of her acting on the trial was the same as the acting in this movie.
Wow.
Tell me I'm wrong. There were moments where her face gets all contorted and I was like, it just was eerily similar to her performance in the trial. It felt weird. I just think this is a fairly bland movie that probably just should have gone, direct to streaming or something like that. But yeah, I was wholly just not impressed at all.
Yeah. I mean, the movie in a way should have been a way to redeem her image, so to speak. It doesn't do it.
It doesn't do any of that.
Yeah. It doesn't, she could deliver lines well. She made a movie, so apparently she got along with everybody. But you expect more from that, and from someone who needs to redeem their image. This is not exactly the thing that says, "Hey, I'm a great actress." So there you go. It's very bland.
Yeah, again, I feel like it's a streaming movie that I don't even know. Did it get a theatrical release? My understanding is the theatrical release was it didn't do.
No, it is. It is. Here, let me look at it. But I was asked recently if we were going to review it. So apparently, it's coming out. Let me see. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah, it's either on VOD or it'll be in select theaters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just
if I can get any solid information, I'll let you know.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to your chat comments and questions here. JTPRX says, Alan gives it number 2. Patrick Lemire says, alienists were just coroners, actually. Caleb Cart's book, The Alienist, is amazing. The TV show with Daniel Bruhl was good as well.
Yeah.
Is Daniel Bruhl any relation to Steve Bruhl?
I have no idea.
Forget it. That's a dumb joke.
Okay. By the way, it's put out by Saban, and it's in theaters and VOD. So day and day release.
Gun Home Max says she's topless in the director's cut. Way better version. I didn't know there was a director's cut.
It's a director's cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, all I can say is this. From what I saw, really not worth your time. And I think from what Alan saw, Alan was not super excited about it either. Now a little let's peek behind the curtain. So I get a private chat comment from Ms. P. Coffee. It says, question, saw several times in the chat, are you going to talk about Daredevil and the fired writers? Yes. Here's what you can do. Put a link in the chat with this to the story. So I'm going to look up. We're going to do this live.
It was a Variety, I think I heard, or
Fired Daredevil writers. Okay. So it's on. There's several stories. One is on comicbook.com. One is on CBR. One is on Uprocks. There's a lot of videos already. Fired Daredevil writers, Variety. How about I do that? So I'm going to do that. I found the story. So there you go. I'm going to share screen right here. See, so I can get this. So here's what we can do. We're just going to do this. So find the story, then I can put it up live and share it. Then do a headline under banners. Here, I'm just
feel like we're cooking food or something.
Now, take a strainer and take your pasta, put it in the strainer. I was making pasta while I was watching that. I was watching that show.
Yeah.
Now we need a background. We don't need a background. We can just do a just do a generic. Okay, so I'm going to do a generic background.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Yes. Go for it.
Alan, see that's all. See, like,
yeah, tell me how easy this is.
I'm doing the show. Like, when I'm doing the show, I am kind of pivoting. We're talking about this, but I could use some. This is just a thing. I could use some help behind the scenes on this, so I can get, if I can just get a little bit of help behind the scenes, and then then I don't have to stop the show to pivot to a topic. It's just like already there. Like, here, I found the link. I put up a background, and here's the headline. Alan, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to blame Alan.
Yeah, I know.
The thing to do is to just always blame Alan.
I know. Well, that's the American way. It's never our fault.
What are you talking about?
No,
I'm just demonstrating that I did that, but that, I could have, whatever. This is
to move objects with your hands, to get lucky, so to speak. What is the Force? We talked about.
Are you really wearing tidy whitey underwear right there?
Not anymore.
All right. Let's talk about this breaking news happened today. Daredevil, the new Disney Plus series, 18 episodes, is in the midst of being shot. They have completely shut down the production and fired the writers, and they're looking for new writers. This is totally unprecedented. I mean, look, they move forward with a lot of shows. And there's always behind the scenes, some would describe it as chaos, behind the scenes tinkering. That is normal. We're going to change this to this. We're going to move this thing around. This thing that was going to happen in episode 2, we're going to move that to episode 4. Whatever. That's fine. It's organized chaos. But this is unprecedented. Let's take a look at this story from Variety. Here it is. Daredevil Born Again. The Daredevil Born Again Daredevil Born Again releases writers and directors as Marvel plans overhaul of the series. This is from Variety. We'll put a link in the description. We're going to go through this real quick. Daredevil Born Again is undergoing a major creative overhaul, Variety has confirmed. The Disney Plus series from Marvel Studios has recently parted ways with head writers Chris Ord and Matt Corman, and is currently seeking new writers to revamp the show. Ord and Corman will still be credited as executive producers. They basically are buying them out of their contracts. So they're getting paid to not work. Thank you very much. Good job. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. This kind of thing does happen in entertainment. Mm-hmm. And with less than half of the series' 18 episode order shot prior to the beginning of the SAG-AFTRA strike. So consider this. Before the strike, they shot less than half. What's less than half? Let's say 4 episodes. Half is 9 episodes. Less than half is anywhere between 4 and 6 episodes were shot. And someone at Marvel, I'm going to guess Kevin Feige, did not like what they saw. Some elements of the already shot material will be used going forward, but Marvel is looking to take the show in a new creative direction. Daredevil is still unable to return to full-scale production, obviously because of the writer's strike, as the actors remain on strike, though they are currently in negotiations with the studio to return to work. The Writers Guild of America recently reached their own new deal with the studios to end their strike, with 99% of the guild's membership voting to approve the deal earlier this week. Final comments here. Charlie Cox will return as Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, in the new series, along with Vincent D'Onofrio as Wilson Kingpin Fisk. The two previously starred together in the Marvel Netflix Daredevil series from 2015 to 2018, which the Daredevil series on Netflix is great. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Marvel Studios' latest television releases include season 2 of Loki, which racked up 10.9 million views in its first 3 days on Disney Plus. They also released Secret Invasion. That was a disappointment, starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, blah, blah, blah. Shows like Echo, starring Alaqua Cox, and Agatha Darkhold Diaries, starring Catherine Hahn, are expected to debut in 2024. Alan, what do you think about this news?
I think it's great news.
Why?
Past pattern. Maybe everything leading up to this is the fault of the writers. Maybe we've been complaining about everything leading up to this as being the fault of the writers. I think it's a great. I mean, if you're going to take an iconic story such as Daredevil Born Again, maybe do it right. Maybe get the people. Gary mentioned this earlier, but get the guys who did the Netflix series, hire them. But there's something interesting that comes out of the strike. One of the negotiated terms of the strike regarding streaming, and that's this: if you write a series, and I believe it's 20% of the subscriber base of that streaming platform. So if Daredevil Born Again comes out on Disney Plus, and 20% of the subscribing base of Disney Plus watches it over the first 90 days, the writers get a massive bonus for having a successful show. And that maybe this is the incentive you need to get real writers who are eager to get that big bonus and do this story right. And so I think this is good news. They'll let us down, believe me. They'll find a way to let us down. But from the outset, I think what the studios wanted all along for this strike was to clean the slate, and they're certainly doing it with Daredevil Born Again.
Okay, so you think this is a positive. I think it's a positive, but it's also a it really is sort of a buildup of Marvel finally coming to the realization that the pivot that they made may have been a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That what they have done, I'm going to even go bigger, more macro on this. Disney has turned Star Wars and Marvel into girl brands. It's not resonating, not even with girls. Okay? That is where we are at. We're at the point now where these things are just not resonating with audiences. I've argued this. I brought up this point many times. So I'm sorry if you've heard this before or you've heard me say this before, but women love strong men in the lead roles for Marvel movies. There's a reason a shirtless Chris Evans, a shirtless Chris Hemsworth, a shirtless Mark Ruffalo, a shirtless Robert Downey Jr., a shirtless Clint Barton. I don't know why I went with the character name. I'm just saying that women are attracted to strong, sexy men. And when you emasculate the men and or feminize them or elevate the women over the male characters, look, just go with true equality. Strong men and strong women can coexist. That makes for the best partnership, if you ask me, right? But different abilities, bringing something different to the table. God, I remember back in the day, they did when Thor 2 came out, I went to a Thor marathon, which was basically Thor 1, the Avengers, and then Thor 2.
You went to a double feature. That's what you went to.
No, a triple feature. I saw Thor 1, then the Avengers, and then that led directly into Thor 2. But I got a little lanyard from it, whatever. This is years ago. This is in the early days of Marvel, which was was phase 2 by that point. Anyways, there were as many women in the audience, and who are they going crazy for? I'll tell you who they went crazy for. Tom Hiddleston is Loki. Sexy Loki is a big deal. Sexy Chris Hemsworth is a big deal. Men like to see men do manly things, and women like to see men being manly and sexy. There is that is like, I don't know how that's not so obvious. So,
well, we can have a whole discussion about toxic masculinity and how we need to eliminate that. And that was the whole point of the pivot, was to say, hey, this is not a male-dominated genre anymore. We're bringing the women in. We're bringing the women and the non-binaries and everyone.
But it was women like men who are strong. Like the reason that there are female Marvel fans is because of strong men. That's why.
Right. The problem is the studio leadership doesn't realize or doesn't believe that. They've been sold a lie, saying that no, women want strong female characters, and they'll come out in droves. I don't think you would ever call Barbie a strong female character, only in attitude. And they came out in droves for that one. They weren't looking for Barbie to be a superhero to literally tear down Barbie Land. They just wanted that cute little character doing female things. It's so if we look at it from a cultural standpoint, is we've been trying to tear down male and female roles, and we're realizing that that's not resonating with anybody except people who write in Hollywood or who work in Hollywood.
Yeah, I just I don't know. We're gonna go to your chat comments and questions in just a second, but ultimately, I think that over the course of San Diego Comic-Con, all these, I think the Disney Plus Marvel series has diluted the brand. I think that Marvel can be saved. Interest in Marvel can return. And as others have stated, I'm just echoing what others have said. And because I agree with it, there is some sense of superhero fatigue, but at the same time, if you make a great superhero film that advances the genre, I think audiences will show up. I think they will 100% show up.
Yeah.
So,
The problem is they've built so much bad blood that, let's say you made the perfect, great superhero movie. There's a lot of work you're going to have to do today to get people to watch it. When in the middle of phases 1, 2, and 3, people just came out. It was a superhero movie. People came out. They wanted to see the next thing because they knew the quality of that next thing was going to be good. But now that we have a string of bad movies, you've got to somehow convince people that no, we did it right this time. I'd love to say Loki season 2 was that, but it's not. There's going to have to be convincing to tell people, all right, we created a semi-good show.
Right. Yeah. All right, Alan, unfortunately, something is happening outside my door here that I have to take care of. Can you do comments while I'm? Yeah. I'll be right back. Folks. Okay. Alan, we're going to the comments.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we all have to say here. There's a lot of Eric questions here. Let me see. So John Odom, regarding in the fire. So you guys are saying that this movie pooped the bed. Patrick Lemire, Mr. Skin has entered the chat. I don't think Mr. Skin's gonna get a whole lot out of that one, but he will get a lot out of Foe. So let's just say that. Frost says how it's made, Film Threat. Not sure what that is, but thanks. Oh, here's something that I just saw the headline for this one. But Don Ranger Power says, speaking of Netflix, it's become a new home of my number one current Star Trek show, Prodigy. Sure, not everyone loves the show and all the other Star Trek shows, and that's fine. Is there a second? There must be a second one to it. But yeah, Paramount announced that they are producing a second season of Star Trek Prodigy. They yanked season 1 off of Paramount Plus, and it appears that they have sold the series to Netflix, which I think was the plan all along, in the sense of not a lot of people are subscribing to Netflix or to Paramount Plus. So to produce shows like this, the subscriber base is not enough to support it. So they would much rather give it to Netflix and then receive the revenue from that streaming service. So this is an economical move, and not necessarily an indicator of the quality of Prodigy, but just realizing that they need money to come in, and not from the subscribers of Paramount Plus, but they want the money to come in from the licensing from Netflix. So there you go. That would be my guess. Spidey Sensei 72. Why not get someone from Marvel Comics division as an advisor on these Disney Plus shows? The question is, who at Marvel Comics today would you put on there? I think the obvious one is go back to all the people they fired, all the good writers that no longer want to work for Marvel anymore. Pay them a crap ton of money and then have them write the series. All right. Spike in Madness, a lot of cocks. All right. Tree Surgeon. If only there was a shirtless Black Widow. Yeah, why is it always the men? And that's our problem, because we watched these movies anyways and saw it. Even they didn't need to put it in to get us to see it. That's the problem. And someone's gonna clip what I just said there. Mike MC Wong. Men want topless Gal Gadot and topless Amber Heard. There we go. Patrick Lemire, Timothy Chalamet, leave it on pal. All right. Argentum, Seeing Natasha being a legitimate, strong female character was cool, but women want real men too. Yeah, I think the point Chris was making was you can't have a team of superheroes that are all the same. You can't have a team of Hulks. Can't have everyone have superhuman strength. You've got to have everyone with their specific talents. That's kind of what teamwork is, to shore up the weaknesses that the team currently doesn't have by bringing someone who can cover those weaknesses, and that allows for variety, diversity, and therefore Black Widow and whoever else are coming. Sifax, the more Disney fails, the more your channel grows. It's definitely good news. Yeah, I mean, what would happen if all the studios started producing good stuff? What would we talk about? All right, Bill S. Preston Esquire. The main problem is the writers, but Kevin Feige runs Marvel, Iger runs Feige, etc. It's not just those writers. I think that's part of it. Or I think that that's why I'm saying for Marvel to turn around, you got to clean house, and I think leadership may be has to be a part of that. Kevin Feige. The question is how much was he the mastermind of the success of the early Marvel? He was there. He was the figurehead. But in that, he hired the writers, he hired the showrunners, he hired the directors. And then to this point, what instructions was he getting from Disney at that point? Was Disney's squeaky clean family image now becoming a bad influence on Marvel at that point? And so how much was Kevin Feige, the mastermind of it, or being strung along? And the question is Kevin Feige so broken at this point that he's not the one to lead the new Marvel? And those are the questions that at some point have to be answered. On Rumble, BMO Better, a sub-supporter, Hollywood is too busy lecturing us instead of actually making entertainment. Yeah, Hollywood used to do that, where the whole point was we're going to make a movie that everyone's going to come and see. And at some point in the most recent past, Hollywood felt that they need to be the leaders of culture, and rather than make movies that we want to see, they're making movies that we need to see. That will make us better people in their eyes, and that's where wokeness comes in. Where we're being preached to, where we're being condemned for our past sins, and now we're going to bring in stories that show us how bad we are, and then how good we need to be by stepping aside and letting other people take our spots. Wow, that was poorly stated. There we go. Kevin Rubio, the boys and Gen V are proof there is no superhero fatigue. Yeah,
okay. We're gonna get to my Gen V review.
Okay,
we're gonna get to it.
Okay,
Kevin, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Yeah, the Gen V, very, very popular. We'll get to it. All right. I think I'm sorry about my absence. My apologies. Thank you. We'll get to a last few comments here, and then I think
it's just a super chat.
The super chat. We'll get to that. Kevin, good to see you. Shucksy for 10. Chris, I'll miss you at New York Comic-Con. I'll be there dressed like my avatar, but wearing a Film Threat tee. Cat, if you see me there Sunday, say hello. If anyone wants to meet up, hit me up on Discord. Hey, Shucksy, take some pictures. Post on social media. Love it. Tag Film Threat, tag me, tag Alan. That's great. Yeah, I have been to New York Comic-Con. Sadly, I will not be there this year, and disappointed, but it is what it is. Thank you, Shucksy, for that. Have fun at New York Comic-Con. Interestingly, something that will be shown at New York Comic-Con is going to be the new Godzilla series, Monarch. What is it? Monarch Legacy of, what is the name of this thing?
Is it in the doc? It's in the doc.
It's in the document.
I know.
It's in the Monarch Legacy of Monsters. I'll talk about it. The embargo lifts at 9 a.m. Pacific time on Friday. Guess when we're doing the show? 9 a.m. Pacific time on Friday. I will discuss with you Monarch Legacy of Monsters. We've got a lot to talk about on Friday as well. So we're going to do that. But let's pivot now. And we're going to discuss. Here we are. No need. Don't everybody. Nothing. Here. I'll do it.
Oh,
there. I did it.
I didn't even know what you're talking about. So
let's talk about Gen V. This is the spin-off series from The Boys. If you've been watching The Boys, of course, The Boys is a series that exposes the Supes for what they really are. Complete hypocrites, horrible human beings. Their public-facing view of the superheroes is that they save the world, they save people, and they do good. Behind the scenes, they are immature children, spoiled, sex-crazed, drug-crazed, horrible, horrible human beings. Is this a comment on current-day Hollywood or politicians? Yes, it is. The public-facing view that we see of people, politicians and celebrities, they are not who they claim to be. That is what The Boys is about. That is also what Gen V is about. You could also place this in the world of sports. Whatever it is, whenever there's a public-facing view of a person, there's commentary coming from The Boys. Gen V follows. First of all, the first 5 minutes of Gen V introduces us to a character. Her name is Marie Moreau, played by Jazz Sinclair. Well, actually, she plays the older version of the character Marie Moreau. A younger version of her, you see her as a child, and I'm not going to describe in graphic detail, but she is a young woman, realizes she's becoming a young woman. Blood is involved, but blood in the hands of Maria Moreau is lethal. And by sheer accident, she ends up murdering, not understanding how her superpowers work, that she can manipulate blood. She can turn it into something sharp. She can use it to grab things. She doesn't understand how her powers work. And as she is in that moment becoming a woman, she accidentally murders her parents. Her young sister witnesses this. Cut to later, Marie Moreau, burdened with this horrible superpower involving blood, is now enrolled into a university. This university, Godolkin University, or God U, as it's sometimes called, is where superheroes go to be trained to eventually get brand contracts. It's very much in line with sports, right? Who is ranked the highest, who is doing well. If you get a high ranking, you'll end up getting a manager or an agent, and you'll be assigned as a superhero to a city. But it depends on what your superpowers are, how they are used. And this university trains young people who are cursed with these powers. And I do say cursed because a lot of the superpowers in this case are curses more than blessings. In a way, this show is what The Boys is to Gen V, the X-Men is, or the Avengers is to the X-Men. This is the X-Men in the Boys universe, and it's fantastic. Patrick Schwarzenegger, Arnold Schwarzenegger's son, plays a character named Luke Reardon. Golden Boy. He basically has powers that are kind of like the Human Torch, and you meet a whole host of other characters. Kate Dunlap, her power is that she can manipulate people by simply touching them. There's another character, Emma Meyer. Is it Emma Myers? Yeah. Emma Myers, Emma Meyer, her character, it's played by the actress Lizzie Broadway. her character can shrink. She can get very small. She can also get very big. But the only way to do that, the way she achieves getting small, is by vomiting. There's another character that can change its sex from female to male. What I like about the show is with all of these things, you can see how the so-called bulimia from Emma Myers' character, she has to basically vomit to get tiny, and then she can get really, really tiny. And then she can go do whatever a little tiny character could do. All of these powers seem to be more like curses when it comes to Gen V. And what the show does a great job of, it satirizes everything. Everything is satire. And I really fell in love with all these characters. Marie Moreau, what convinced me is having seen Ahsoka and then watching Loki, and then suddenly I see the first 5 minutes of Gen V and I was hooked. How does that happen? Because it's all about character. It's all about how these characters are affected, not just by the powers that they have, the world that they're thrust into, which is these celebrity superpowered individuals all chasing after contracts, which will lead them to, being the protector of a particular city, right? That's what they want to do. They want to bag the big contract, go to a big city where they'll make a lot of money, potentially maybe even be one of the members of the Seven, effectively the Avengers in the boys universe. I'm not going to I've seen the first 4 episodes. I don't want to burden you too much with story. Just to give you my overall impressions. Also, Alan hasn't seen it yet, but Marie Moreau ends up becoming roommates with Emma, who's shrinks, and the two of them forge a friendship. There then a mystery unfolds because I don't want to get into it. It's very spoilery in the first episode. We lose one of the characters, and that character's death resonates for the rest of the series because there is a mystery somehow involving dreams and a world called the Woods. I'm not going to get into it. I don't want to go beat by beat on the story. I'll just say I've seen the first 4 episodes. I'm sold based on the fact that I actually care about all of these characters. That unlike the boys, where they have these cool superpowers. I can fly. I have super strength. I have super speed. I can do this. Like, I can breathe underwater. Like, these are traditional superpowers that are associated with characters from both the Avengers and the Justice League. The powers that are in Gen V are all burdens. They're not fully, and each of the characters fully doesn't even understand their powers, because Marie Moreau can manipulate blood. And there are some shocking moments. I'll talk about some of the shocking moments in a minute. Emma Myers' character, because she can shrink, she ends up hooking up with a guy. And the show, to be clear, is this is not for kids. This is a big middle finger to Marvel. It is hyper violent, and also there's a lot of sex. So there is a sex scene with Emma Myers' character where she shrinks down to where she's basically riding a man's penis like you would a mechanical bull at a bar. It's played for laughs. It's weird. And that's not the weirdest thing that happens in the show. So a strong recommendation for Gen V. It's 8 episodes. We're halfway in. I cannot wait to see where it goes. Also, I know a lot of people have sort of fallen off on the boys. I'll say that I actually really enjoy the boys. I plan to catch up when the new season comes out. But I'm really sold on Gen V, a completely new set of characters. And I'll say this also, that the characters from the boys affect events in Gen V. But I'll say that you don't need to have watched the boys to see this. It's a world of superheroes. Kids with superheroes go to a school. There's no Professor X type of character. There's a head of the university, but it's not like the X-Men. It's different. In a way, it's more like a farming league for professional athletes is kind of what Gen V is. I love the show. I'm going to watch it till the end, and I'll give you my final roundup when the last episode airs. Let's see what you thought. Hopefully some people have actually also seen Gen V.
So it's
Why are you smiling?
It's not completely out, so we can't.
No, it's only 4 They dropped 3 episodes on the first day, and then 1 episode came out last week. So I have seen 4 episodes. So it's not. But they dropped 3 episodes on day 1. 3 episodes out of the gate. But I'm telling you, if you watch, this is not for kids. This is adult. This is very adult, and this is why I actually think this may contribute to why Marvel hasn't grown. One of the things that was interesting, before we get to your comments, one of the things that was really interesting about the Harry Potter movies is the Harry Potter movies aged with the audience. First Harry Potter, the kids were very young, and it was very much a children's movie. And the movies became more mature as the audience grew with the movies. The Marvel films have not done that. Star Wars has not done that. Gen V is, if you watched Marvel movies as a kid, you're now an adult. Gen V is for you. Let's go to your comments and questions before.
Let me sum up one question that's being asked a lot, but is it woke?
Yeah, there's some stuff in it but what it does is it mocks wokeness. So like one of the characters can turn to a male or a female, and they make jokes about it. One character also, the black woman, Marie Moreau, happens to be a black woman, and the woman who's trying to, like, one of the women from the university who's trying to sell her to a potential manager is, see, we don't always have to go with white men as our heroes. She's basically, the show calls out wokeness. It has it. Here's what the show does. The show has it both ways. It calls out wokeness while at the same time also being woke. So you have one of the lead characters, it's an ensemble show, but one of the lead characters is a young black woman, but it calls out that, like, it's that the show's diverse. Like, you need more diversity in your heroes. It actually makes fun of it while also being it at the same time. Does that make sense?
Look, I'll go based on Boys season 3. It made fun of wokeness, but it was definitely not. I would never say it was a balanced show, and I'll say it this way: Homelander is clearly Trump. And all the negative things, all the things you believe about Trump, if you're on the left, that is all represented in Homelander, and that was my issue. Was it is self-aware enough to poke fun at itself, but it's definitely not balanced in any way. And I don't think, from what I'm hearing, I don't necessarily think that this is a balanced series either, which is fine. I've grown up on very liberal television over my lifetime, so I'm kind of used to it, but I wouldn't say it's balanced.
I don't really care. It's sort of like you can have your cake and eat it too, because it makes fun of stuff that's woke. It makes fun of, like, they, them stuff, while at the same time they have a character that can change gender. So the show has it both ways. Whether you think that matters or not is up to you. That's fine.
I think you're saying it
worked for me.
It sees the extreme progressiveness of the left and pokes fun at it. And I think we can give it credit for that.
It deserves credit for that. Let's go to your comments and questions. Wow, there's a lot here. Hater Squad says it takes a flamethrower to the right and Nerf gun to the left.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair. Maybe people on one side are stronger and can take it. The other people can't take it. Maybe look at it that way.
That was the nature of television all the way through, with the exception of things like the A-Team.
Right.
It's always been left leaning.
Yeah. AIA says, I'm enjoying Gen V because of the characters, but it's the most woke show ever. The social messaging is very heavy handed. The only positive male character can swap genders. Every episode has a man's penis in it. Well, I don't know. Like, the thing is, it just didn't bother me because I felt it was mocking and satirical. So maybe it's because I watch so many indie movies. So this stuff is just sort of always present. I never felt like I was being lectured. Jericho Leon, I think I've had enough of superhero movies and shows that are mere commentaries of their source materials, though. John Manalang, Gen V is pretty awesome. And yes, I too am sold. Solid character progression and surprises. Heck, even the they character's awesome. Yeah, the character that's they, and you see, like, as the show goes on, the struggles that this character has, like connecting with his father. So there's really good, there's stuff that you can relate to, right?
Yeah,
I think it's good.
There are good shows and movies I've seen that I don't agree with politically, but have good stories, have good characters, and enjoyable to watch. So it's not to say that I need to take a side and say, that this is too liberal and so therefore I'm not going to like it, or this is too conservative and so therefore the greatest show ever made.
Yeah. Kimberly Moore, some of Marvel is hyper violent and sexual, but not in the movies. Not in the movies necessarily. Winsome Hex, but aren't you a bit tired of the cynical profit motive for superheroes? Spider-Man and his powers were a burden. With great power comes great responsibility. Stuck for decades. Yeah, but it's a good message. It's a good message.
Yeah.
War Monkey, so funny. He's giving a positive review, but chat seems to be not interested or totally turned off from his description. Ha ha. Okay.
Yeah.
From Rumble, Winter Soldier sub supporter, Gen V does fall apart. Amazon has been sending out feedback questionnaires, and 2 of the questions deal with the show being too woke. Fair point. Spidey Sensei 72 says, I wasn't sold on this show until episode 2. It's a slow starter, but once it gets going, it really takes off. Good. See, I'm glad you recognize that. Like, Sifax says, the trans character, when they change the powers, changed to at least kind of interesting, but yes, a lot of message in it. What I'm saying is the messages don't bother me. So I don't know. Kimberly says, I know Solomon and the writer hates superheroes. That's why it is what it is. And Chucksy, I'm beyond sick of Sledgehammer social commentary with superheroes. So there you go. And Fro says, I must have superhero fatigue because I'm listening to this and I don't care at all. And Imperfect says, yeah, no thanks. I don't watch anything that makes modern social commentary, but watch it for yourself. I like commentary on our time. I don't like to be lectured. So there you go.
I mean, and as much as I complain about it, I think movies and TV have to say something. It has to have a message behind it. The question is whether they hit you over the head with it or whether they portray a persuasive argument. And I would much rather prefer the persuasive argument over the sledgehammer over the head.
All right, last comment here before we go to our special guest who's joining us in our digital green room here. Let's see. Imperfect says, oh, wait, I got that one. Solomon Thornton says, Gen V is a well-made show. The characters are fun. It's basically a rated R X-Men show. Thank you, Solomon. And there we go. So look, I'm sorry, chat. I'm not going to agree with you on everything. I'm saying I'm entertained. Also, I'm numb from watching Ahsoka and Loki. So the fact that like a show actually made me care about the characters, I forgot what that was like. All right, let's pivot. We have 2 special guests on the show today who are going to be joining us. Let's bring on Hammer director Orlando Cicilia III and actor Eric Roberts are joining us. Hey, how's it going, gentlemen?
Great. Thanks for asking.
Good. How are you guys?
Doing awesome. Where are you guys? Where are you?
We're in Miami.
That's right. You had the film festival, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is we're at the Cubic Center, which is related to Miami-Dade College, and the.
Oh no! Oh, there we go. Okay.
The theater, but this is a theater, and we're just about getting ready to go into our premiere. So we're here in the heart of Miami, technically Little Havana, but heart of Miami, getting ready to launch this thing.
Well, congratulations, Orlando. Thank you so much. Your film Hammer is a short horror film. The website is awesome. You can see the trailer on the website. I'm gonna share it here right now so you can check it out. And I'm excited. First of all, I have to ask a big first question. How did you get Eric Roberts to be in your horror film? And look at all the accolades and awards for this movie. It's amazing.
Well, me and Eric go back actually a few years. So we were working on a couple other things, unrelated in different capacities, right? But we met each other, we liked each other, we worked well together. And then when this came up, it was almost a no-brainer. I showed him the project and asked him to come on, and he liked it. Lucky enough for me, and then it was all full steam ahead.
It's as simple and as complicated as that. Yeah.
That's great. Well, let's wait. I'm going to change this here. I'm going to go back to this setup. Tell us how you first of all pulled this whole thing together. I know that like SAG Indie has certain contracts, and Eric, I just have to the chat is going nuts right now that you're here talking with us, and we've got a bunch of questions for you. We'll keep it around certain rules, but Orlando, if you could tell us getting this thing out there, obviously.
Okay, you're breaking up, but
oh,
I need
sorry.
to mention something to you. My union is on strike, so I can't
Right.
talk about anything I'm in currently or doing currently because I'm
Right.
not doing anything currently or in anything
Right.
currently. So if you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Absolutely. But Orlando, tell us in terms of working with Eric and what he's like as a professional.
Don't tell.
I'm not going to tell. I won't tell the truth. So, Eric, he's great. I mean, look, in everything I do, right? All sorts of businesses, the most important thing is the people, right? Because talent is great, but without the actual person, things just don't work. So it started there, and being able to connect with Eric and actually like him, and hopefully he liked me back. And then it started there with him being a great person. And then, obviously he's a phenomenal actor. And so it was a no-brainer in that sense, but it kind of started there with us being able to connect and actually like each other, I think.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have got 500 people watching us live on YouTube right now. We've got questions from our chat, comments and questions. You mind taking some questions?
Sure, I think
Go right here.
I'm fine.
Okay, here we go. A super chat here from MK Solid 82 for Eric. Best of the Best has aged as such a fine film. It has such strong characters and heart.
You dropped out. All I heard was
sorry.
Best of the Best has aged. That's all I got.
Yeah. Best of the Best has aged as such a fine film. It has such strong characters and heart. What are your thoughts looking back on that film?
Well, it's a family film, and time has proved it so. Everybody goes, oh, no, it's violent. No, it's a family film. It's about loving and giving and loyalty and family. It's about those things.
Another super chat here from Greasy Guido for 1111. Interesting. Eric, I called out to work sick one day and ended up watching and loving all of your Stalked by My Doctor movies consecutively. Is it difficult to play a seedy villain, or is it just fun?
It gets more fun every episode of that show.
That's great. That's great. Let's see. Wes Ray for Eric. The Ambulance is such a cool, underrated thriller. What was it like working with writer-director Larry Cohen?
Well, Larry Cohen was the coolest, but The Ambulance was the #1 movie in France for, I think, even 2 full years. It was huge in France. So it was a hit, and it made all its money back, and we all got our profit sharing. And I loved Larry Cohen like I love my family, all day, every day. What a guy, what a sense of humor, and what a remarkable boy with a toy he was on a set as a director. He was so much fun.
Another super chat here from Jake Blues for 5. Who doesn't like a good Eric Roberts movie? They took my thumb, Charlie.
Except that's not an Eric Roberts movie. That's an Eric Roberts and a Mickey Rourke movie. Okay.
Well, there you go. Okay. All right. There you go. Let's see. Patrick Lemire asks, if you get a chance, check out The Coca-Cola Kid with Eric Roberts. It's an old indie set in Australia, a sweet film about a Coca-Cola salesman trying to convert the last corner of Earth not drinking Coke. Oh, lost them. Well, there you go. And Solomon Thornton says, greetings, Sir Eric and Sir Orlando. I'm a huge fan. This is a question for Orlando. What is your approach for directing actors?
So I'm kind of direct. So I believe in a very open line of communication, which I think is why we worked well. Is so I kind of tell them what I want and then get some feedback. I'm not super strict in terms of this is how it has to be, because I don't think I know everything, and I don't think I know what the best way to do anything is, especially when it comes to film, to a craft like this, because it's a lot of technique, but it's also a lot of creativity, and it's art at the end of the day. So it's one of those things where I'm very direct and open. I think the biggest fault we have as people and issues is when we, you know, don't meet expectations. And if I am able to express those and receive their expectations, and that's kind of how it works. So it becomes a real partnership for me anyways. And I feel like that's the best way for me, and that's kind of how I go about it. I'm directing what I want, but there's also leeway to that because I think that's how it works.
And let's see, 200 Watt Studios just says this is awesome. Jake Blues says the ambulance was excellent.
Thank you.
And hey, it's me in HD says Mr. Roberts was Mr.
Oh no.
Oh
no, there we go. They're back.
Says Mr. Roberts was so cool in The Dark Knight, but to me, I always loved him in The Odyssey.
Oh.
So there you go.
There's a funny quick story about The Odyssey. It was directed by the same man who directed Runaway Train, and he called me the last minute, and I had just played another part where I had to be fat, and he said, "Eric, I need you for this role very quickly next week in London. Please come play it for me. It's so and so and so and so." I said, "But I'm fat, and that guy has to be like not dressed." He goes, "Right, okay, lose the weight. Bye bye, click." And so I had to stop eating for a couple of weeks. It was horrible.
Oh no.
Yeah, I want to ask you a question,
Sure.
Eric. But I'm looking at our last year reviews, and you appeared in 9 films that we reviewed last year. 9 indie
I can't
films.
help it.
I know, but I guess the question is, how do we get Eric Roberts in our indie film, and what is your thought process selection as to what films you will do?
I just have to like it. If I like it and it's fun to read, I'll come running. And I can't talk about being in movies right now, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. 200 Watt Studios for 5 says been a fan since Runaway Train. Fantastic performance, sir. Any stories about that film?
I have never been colder in my whole life. Oh, here's a great story about that movie. We're supposed to shoot it in Montana, and we arrived in Montana on Valentine's Day, and we stayed for 10 days, and we watched it thaw. So the producer shrugged and said, "Well, the movie takes place in Alaska. Let's go to Alaska." So they moved the whole cast and the whole crew to Alaska, and we shot a really good movie.
So it was warmer in Alaska.
No, it was cold in Alaska. We watched Montana thaw. That's why we couldn't shoot
thaw.
there.
That's
we couldn't
crazy.
shoot there because there was no snow.
Wow. Let's see. Another question here for Jimmy from Jimmy Francis. For Eric, congrats on such an impressive career. What is your key rule to maintaining it for such a long time over so many pictures? Not just pictures, decades. I mean, we were all before, as we were talking before the show started, like people were realizing like your career has spanned so many decades of consistency.
Oh, that is so nice to hear, because I don't totally agree, but I'll take it. A long career is like a long marriage. It's a job you have to give importance to. It matters, and you can't take it for granted, and you can't ever ignore it, and you can't ever think it's going to do it for you, because it won't. You have to do it for yourself. It's just like marriage. It's the same kind of commitment, and it's the same love affair, except without the good kissing.
Anana Mouse asks, Hammer horror? It's a comment for you, Orlando, about the name of your film. It's a horror film called Hammer horror.
Yeah, it's called Hammer. That is the title of the film, and it is a horror or a thriller or suspense or however you want to categorize it. But yes, it's Hammer is the name of the movie, and it's a horror.
Can you give us a quick synopsis, by the way?
Yeah, so Hammer is the unfortunate story of Bill, played by Eric, who arrives home one day in really good mood, hoping to surprise his wife, and ends up with a surprise of his own. And then what happens next?
I'll do very quickly. Here's all I'm gonna let him tell. I'm gonna add to it, and that's all we're gonna say because he's gonna give it away. But I come home and I see my wife in bed with another man. Then the movie really begins.
Right.
Don't say another word.
I won't say another word. I will say that it'll go live on Friday the 13th, which I think is an appropriate date, on watchhammermovie.com. So simple enough, watchhammermovie.com.
We'll put the link in the description for this video.
Yeah, perfect.
Another question here from Aid Ellis 24 from Rumble. As Eric is clearly a supporter of independently produced films, what are the hallmarks of a script production that he is looking for when picking his next projects to join?
It's nothing perfectly specific. It's if it makes me happy to read, if it was entertaining, and if I went from page 1 to the end all in one reading. All those things are what will add up to yes, I will do it.
Wow. And then another comment from the same person. How has Eric managed to be in over 51 productions that were released in 2023 alone?
That's not a question I can answer. You'll have to ask my boss. That is my wife. That is my manager. They are the same trio. Her name is Eliza, and I think her number's on my website. Ask her.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Any final thoughts as you're in Miami for the screening of the film? Final thoughts from you, Orlando. I know, Eric, you can't talk about this movie, but just final thoughts, Orlando, as you get to see this film.
I would say I hope you guys out there can come watch it. This horror. This is a horror to end all horrors. Hopefully you'll like it. I think Eric is a mad genius. He did an amazing job. You like Eric, you'll like it. And I think even if you don't like Eric, you'll like it. but I think I would just ask, check it out and see what you guys think.
Well, you could build a pyramid with the number of accolades and laurels. Look at all these awards that this film has done. And you can see it. There's a countdown clock. You can see the movie at the website on Friday the 13th, which is a perfect day to premiere it. And then Jeremiah M is asking a quick question. Is this Orlando's first film?
So it is it's my directorial debut. First as a director. I have produced other films before and written other shorts, I'd say, and I did have a producerial role in other features. But yes, as a director, this is my directorial debut.
Great. And any final thoughts as you guys, I know you're going to go into the screening of the movie. Final thoughts before we say goodbye to you both. And I got to thank you for taking the time just to do the show. But final thoughts.
Support independent film. Everybody has to start that way. Support independent film.
Thank you. Just thank you, guys. Thank you. Really appreciate you doing this. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you to you. And Eric, just watching your career, you've had this just amazing career being able to do, you've been in big Hollywood productions and you continue to support the indies. And I just always applaud every time I see you on the screen. So thank you so much.
I love the kind words. Thank you. But in the end result, I've been so lucky, man. I've had so much fun.
All right. Take care, both of you. Have fun in Miami. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Thanks again. Later. Oh my God. They were great.
That was it.
That was great. Well, I didn't know. I actually was unaware that the movie debuted on Friday. So we're going to put the link. We're going to put the link for the website where you can watch the film. We'll put that in here so you guys can all see it. And I assume we'll have a review on the Film Threat website. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the screener. They sent it and the password didn't work. So we will eventually get it. Yes.
By the way, Alan, it's out on the website in just a day.
No, they said the 13th, which is 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Friday.
Yes.
We'll get a review.
With all we've been doing, I have no sense of.
Oh, no. Alan is like losing sleep over the number of reviews that he's been doing lately.
Yeah. I've mentioned
So-
before, Eric Roberts was the last person I met face to face before lockdown, and that was quite an honor. And
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Oh,
and we
and
soon
8
realized
Ellis-
that neither of us had COVID that day. So,
By the way, 8Ellis24 on Rumble says thank you for the questions. Of course,
yeah,
we pay attention to our supporters on Rumble. We thank them for that. One last quick thing I want to talk to you about. So I watched Gen V. Obviously, we talked about that. Apparently, nobody agrees with me on that, which is fine. I would take a second opinion from Alan.
okay.
Always like to hear what Alan has to say. But then I watched a movie, which we will talk about this movie on Friday because Alan's going to see it.
Yeah, I saw it last night. So,
Oh, you did? Well,
Yeah.
we don't really have time to talk about
yeah,
it. Let's talk about it on Friday.
Yeah.
There's a movie called Totally Killer. We'll discuss that on Friday. But I saw a film, so I went down this rabbit hole, and this happens to me every time I go on Amazon Prime, because I forget how much content is on Amazon Prime. You know, you've got The Boys, you've got other shows, they have original movies, like Air and whatnot, and they've got I don't even know how to describe it. Prime Video on Amazon Prime has all of these cheesy 1950s bad sci-fi movies that I grew up watching as a kid, and I have an affection for those movies. I know they're not very good, but I like them. They're my comfort food. And I ran across a movie that exists, and it is the worst film, not only that I've seen this year, and I've seen The Exorcist Believer, by the way, but might be one of the worst films I've seen in the last decade. It's called Trump versus the Illuminati. This is a real film about a clone of Donald Trump in the future that fights the Illuminati. This movie is awful. It's terrible. And it doesn't even look like, the way that they did this movie is it looks like kind of like, do you know a film called What's Up, Tiger Lily?
yeah,
Where they took an old movie, Woody Allen takes an old film and redubs over it, creating a completely different film using the footage from one movie, and he sort of adds audio to create a completely different movie. It looks like that's what somebody did. Somebody took a tech demo, because there's all these impressive like alien special effects and spaceships and these people in an astronaut costume. And one of the people in the astronaut costume is doing a bad Donald Trump imitation. Show the trailer for this movie. We should look up the trailer for the film. We're going to look up the trailer for the film. Just show the trailer, because this fits in a category of movie that I would call, I can't believe this movie got made. And it's not good, right? I mean, the concept is stupid on its face. It's one of those movies where effectively the title is the movie, right? The title is let's see if I can find the trailer. The trailer I know is on Prime Video, but the fact that this movie actually exists is crazy. And it's so bad because it looks like a completely different movie. I see that there are like, oh my God, I just looked up Trump versus the Illuminati. And well, that might have not been a good thing to put in my.
yeah.
This
You're
movie-
downloading malware right now.
No, it showed up in my. Let's see, I might have to like go to headphones here to share this. We're going to look at the trailer is a little, it's under 2 minutes. We're going to take a look at the trailer for this. Alan, so you and I, are you ready for this? This is a good way to end the show.
Do it.
We're ending the show on kind of a movie recommendation. I don't know. How do we do this here? Is this going to work? No, that's not it.
Yeah. You gotta switch the tab.
Oh, sorry. I got to switch. Okay. Give me a minute here, folks. And we'll go through your last comments and questions here. I watched Gen V, I watched this movie Totally Killer, and then this trailer was kind of shown to me, and I couldn't believe it. Could not believe that this thing is an actual thing. So here we go, Alan. Are you ready?
Yeah, do it.
In the year 2044, advanced artificial intelligence robots drained the Earth of her natural resources. leaving the once thriving planet a barren shell. Adrift in space, the human race fights its toughest battle ever for survival. A Chinese clone of the 45th U.S. President Donald J. Trump survives the Earth's destruction by escaping his maximum security lab. His petri dish-grown body, fused with the latest AI technology, possesses eternal life and large hands. During his escape from Earth, Trump's ship crash lands on Mars. Unable to leave, he exists for 1,000 years on a barren prison planet of his own making.
Aleister Crowley, a true scourge on the living.
It seems every time I try to get out, Illuminati pulls me back in. What a strange, strange trip this life is.
You're the one aiming to destroy our Illuminati! Donald Trump!
Call me Trump.
You're coming with us! Turn around and raise your hands!
If you insist. Computer, play Trump's favorite playlist.
Playing that music. What
Oh my
the
God.
heck? Okay,
It's like
This-
this is the trailer. This is an actual feature-length movie.
what's that?
Is this an actual feature-length movie, or is
This is a feature-length movie on Prime Video. Trump. Wait, I wanted to get that, like, just that last part. Wait, we missed it.
Suck on that.
What the hell? First of all, I've seen the film. It's terrible. It's they all it is somebody took some special effects demos or something with aliens and created this whole it makes no sense whatsoever. It's nonsensical. But the perfect movie to watch at Thanksgiving with your relatives. Alan, do you have any comments on the trailer?
I'm curious as hell to see this one.
But okay, it was uploaded in 2020, so obviously someone was sitting there bored during the pandemic nonsense and just decided, well, I'm just going to take this weird special effects footage of aliens, Mars, and astronaut. I'm going to do a Trump voice and some bad music, and then I'm just going to like, I'm gonna make a movie because I'm bored. And it's all done in voiceover. All the story is voiceover. It's all digital effects. This is an awful film. It's terrible and might be one of the worst things I've seen. Definitely on the top worst. We should do a worst of the year list when we get to the best of the year and worst of the year. Actually, as requested to be on our best of the year, he wants to be on our top movies of the year show, which we'll do at the end of the year. But
It'll be like last year. I think we'll be scraping the bottom of the barrel for something good.
But this is the kind of thing, like if you go down a rabbit hole on Prime Video, literally there was a period, they don't do this anymore, but Prime Video used to allow any independent filmmaker to upload their movie to Prime Video, like anybody. Okay. Now they have far more restrictions and guide rails for movies that they'll allow on the platform. But this is a god-awful sci-fi so-called comedy that is, I mean, you saw from the trailer, is awful. And I this falls under the category of, one, I can't believe this movie got made, and two, this is like a room clear because it's not good. I feel like with better writers, this could have been a funny concept, but here's what I love: the fact that this movie exists.
Yeah.
I love that this movie exists.
Well, it sounds like you can make an entire movie from story blocks, from your story blocks.
Yeah, story blocks, like little footage and stuff. Let's go to your, but all I can say is this: it's awful. Make sure to show it to your relatives at Thanksgiving. Let's see. How many minutes long is it? Alan, can you look that up? Patrick Lemire is asking. It was almost 9. I think it might have been just over an hour. That buffed alien looks awesome. LMAO says War Monkey. Bethel Games, it is cut together from different things. Yeah, it definitely 100% is. Joseph, Amazon scraping the bottom of the barrel. I wouldn't blame Amazon for this. Like, they had this policy where you could literally upload anything to Amazon and sell it. Lord of the Films, the guy reuses the same animations for the entire movie, except with different dialogue, and it becomes like torture. 100%. I could not believe it. It was torture. What's the running time, Alan?
Yeah, it's 69 minutes.
Is it really?
It is.
It's 69 minutes. Oh my God. The impression isn't terrible, says Fra. Spidey Sensei 72 says, is this an AI film? I think AI would actually make a better movie.
Yeah.
Shuxley
I don't think
says
it's available in 2020.
it's a better and more solid plot than a Marvel movie. Kind of have to give it up for that then. So there you go. Let's see. Have you guys reviewed the new Toxic Avenger trailer? Says Juxtapose. We have not, actually.
Yeah, we were supposed to review the movie.
We'll talk about it on Friday. I have thoughts, Alan. Alan and I thought we were going to go to a screening of the Toxic Avenger for the Monday Mystery Movie at Regal, and we saw a John Cena movie, and we'll tell you all about it on Friday.
Oh.
We saw John Cena's upcoming movie with Allison Brie.
Yes. It's called Freelance.
All right. This looks so bad, I have to watch it, says B-Red. See, the thing is
there
are movies that are so bad, they're good, and this isn't one of them. But it's so bad that it like exists is kind of funny. So I like that. Doc Savage for 2. This is you guys' reminder to watch Farscape. Well, thank you, Doc Savage. You got to watch Farscape. You got to watch it. From Rumble, Caveat Ties supporter for 2. Does it have a fight scene like when he fought the Secret Service in the limo on January 6th? It does not have a fight scene like that. He's in an astronaut uniform the whole movie. You don't really see his face. It's pretty stupid. So there you go. But that about wraps it up for us today. Alan and I will be back on Friday. We're going to announce the nominees for Award This 2023. We will remind you the tickets are still on sale, that you can actually come to the event. We will announce the host of the show, probably not on Friday, but the following Friday. So we're going to have announcements about Award This. You're just going to want to it's basically a big party. It's a big party, and people you know from Film Threat will be there. Dante's going to be there. Paulie from Latino Slant's going to be there. Mexican Iron Man's going to be there.
Oh,
hey. So a lot of people you know from YouTube. It's going to be a lot of fun. Friday, we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff. First of all, we're going to talk about Totally Killer. I get the title of that movie kind of mixed up. Totally Killer, When Evil Lurks, Freelance, and I'm going to be reviewing and discussing the first 5 episodes of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. That's the new Godzilla series that ties directly into the Monsterverse, Godzilla 2014 and all of those films. It ties into those, starring Kurt Russell and Kurt Russell's son, who plays a younger version of Kurt Russell. By then, I'll have seen the first 5 episodes. I can talk to you about it because they're going to be screening and doing a panel at New York Comic Con. This show, by the way, doesn't come out for another month. It comes out like November 17th, but I will be giving you a preview of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Probably some other films too. Alan has seen a couple indies that I haven't. Isn't that true, Alan?
Yes.
I love how Alan is so agreeable.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm trying to see if I can get into the Taylor Swift thing, but it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like you'll be able to see it in time.
Newport Beach Film Festival starts tomorrow, and so I will have a review ready for one of the horror films coming out on Friday night.
Cool. And also, thank you to our mods today, Lord Thoth, Gridiron Masters. Shout out to Paulie from Latino Slant, and of course, Ms. P Coffee, active in the chat. Ms. P Coffee she's such a social butterfly in the chat. I'm over there and she's chatting with people, chatting away. She's not even paying attention to Alan and I. It's all good. It's all good. We love Miss P Coffee. All right. Take care. We'll see you Friday. Alan.
Let's get out of here.
No, don't say it. Give me a second.
Okay. Sorry.
Give me a second. Wait, just
These movie reviews are delicious. Film Threat sucks.
say that. That's kind of rude. Alan?
Let's get out of here.